Welcome to the show. I'm Jason Whitlock, and I'll tell you why I think the Eagles actually have an advantage going into the Super Bowl.
And I'm Colin Cowherd, and I'll tell you why taking the Patriots this weekend is the surest bet I've ever made in my career. Speak for yourself starts now.
The blazing one goes down.
I've already spent the money on a speedboat, a Ferrari.
Oh, boy. All right, hello and welcome. We're joined today by former Pro Bowler T.J. Houshmandzadeh and longtime NFL coach Mike Martz. Let's start with the Super Bowl, where the Eagles and the Patriots appear to be taking very different approaches to leading up to Sunday's big game. Reportedly, Tom Brady's been much more jovial this week than past Super Bowl seasons, and Belichick's been uncharacteristically relaxed, even going to a Timberwolves game last night. Meanwhile, the Eagles have stepped up their trash talking with Alshon Jeffrey guaranteeing a win, saying, quote, "When we win this game on Sunday, ain't no telling what we're going to do. But we're probably going to celebrate, have some fun. We're bringing that trophy back to Philly, man." Cowherd, who has the better mindset going into this game, the Eagles or the Patriots?
New England's in a great spot. There's several stats that just jump out to me. Number one is in the last 8 games, Philly has 13 sacks. Saxonville was a big threat. They didn't get to Brady in the last 2 hours of that game. He's going to have loads of time.
Did you hear what I asked you?
Yeah, the mindset?
Yeah, who has a better mindset?
New England's
not better stats.
New
England's, who has a better mindset?
New England's seen the film. That's why they're relaxed. It's going to be a blowout.
Oh, they're taking it for granted.
No. They looked tense against Jacksonville. They looked tense against Atlanta and Seattle. They don't. This is going to be an ugly football game. It's going to be a rout. It's going to be over middle of the third.
You know why they look tense? Because they work for the most intense coach in the history of football, and he's lost his intensity. And I love the Patriots. I have respect for Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. I don't like the attitude going into this game. Bill Belichick's at an NBA game, Super Bowl week. That doesn't blow your mind? It blows my mind. They've broken character. I love Philadelphia's attitude. Philadelphia's got them dog mask on. They're the underdogs. They're hungry. They're intensely focused on this game. Belichick and Brady are thinking about their legacies. They got documentaries coming out right and left.
Have you ever seen, you think Belichick suddenly
He's at an NBA game, Colin. He ain't Colin Cowherd. He's Bill Belichick. I didn't even know if he could spell NBA before last night.
Well, never forget this, that if the line, you like Vegas.
Yeah.
Okay. If this line would have come out before the previous game for both teams, it would have been New England favored by over a touchdown. New England is the significantly better football team here. The other team's missing their MVP quarterback, their Hall of Fame left tackle, their best linebacker, and has a young coach and Nick Foles at quarterback.
The line is moving towards the Eagles.
Yeah, that's because the masses, Joe Sixpack, is betting big Philadelphia. The Sharps are betting New England. I've never, ever in my career gone out and predicted a Super Bowl blowout. In my entire career, I should have been at the NBA game.
Can you believe he's at an NBA game last night?
Well, they got 2 weeks to prepare for this game.
Yes.
You know, and I think in big games like this, towards the end, you've got to relax a little bit. You can't play tight. You can't coach tight. You know, you can't get yourself all balled up and worrisome about things. If their work is done, they're ready to go.
I love to hear coaches say that. And they go to the game and their rear ends are about this big. Everybody's tight, man. It's the biggest game
That's why you have
football.
to fight to stay kind of relaxed. They've done their work by now. It's really kind of in the barn, so to speak. They're ready to go. They're ready to play, and that's a good sign, I think.
When I look at it, it's more so, it's what Coach said. Your game plan is in. You got to find things to de-stress you and kind of relax. Now, going to what Cowherd said is, when you look at both of these teams, this is just my opinion, obviously. The Patriots are better at quarterback and at tight end. Other than that, I don't see where they have the advantage at. Really, to be honest with you, I don't see it.
I agree with you. I think this is the worst Patriot Super Bowl team in terms of personnel overall. They're not as good on defense as they've ever been in the Super Bowl. They're very marginal. They've improved all year long, but they've got some there's an Achilles heel there on defense, and I think the Eagles will play exceptionally well.
Philly's going to put a lot of pressure. the Patriots' calling card is going to be that Brady gets rid of the ball quickly. That's what he does well to negate the rush that the Eagles are going to bring. But if you can get up and man those receivers up and force them to hold the ball and take an extra hitch or whatever it may be, that pass rush can get there. I'm looking forward to this game. I'm completely opposite of you. I actually think the Eagles are going to make this a really good game.
By the way, the Patriots are a dynasty. Okay, this game is on their schedule. I'm not sure on their pocket schedule. They may just put the Super Bowl on their pocket schedule. So, yeah, I mean, this is just the way it is. This is not the Super Bowl for them. This is the Patriot Bowl. This is another week. They've done it.
And that's the problem. That's why I like Philly's mindset. And if I can get TJ and Mike to quit dodging, whose mindset do you like better?
I don't think the mindsets really matter. As long as both teams are prepared, which they both are, and each player and team is going in there with the confidence they can win, that's all that matters. You're going to get a good game. I think a lot of that is overblown. Once the game starts, what we're talking about, I'm guaranteeing it doesn't matter. You got to play.
Eli Manning ate this Eagles defense for lunch twice this year. The immobile Eli with no running game. I said this about Jacksonville. The last great defense in this league was Seattle's. And by the way, I would argue the other one was Denver was really good, especially in the back end. Seattle and Harbaugh's for about 2 years. I think we're overstating this Philadelphia team. They don't get to the quarterback much. Their secondary's got a tremendous...
Fletcher Cox is irate if he just heard you say that.
Who's that?
Fletcher Cox.
No. Okay, how many times did you hear Calais Campbell's name in the New England game? You didn't. New England takes away your dominant pass rusher.
Philadelphia lit up Minnesota's offensive line. That's why Case Keenum was trash. It's because he couldn't set his feet. They crushed him in the pocket. Philadelphia's pass rush is perfectly fine.
You know what? Why aren't we talking about Philadelphia's offense? They're going to hit New England with so many RPOs, that's run-pass options, that you have to play honest. Like Philadelphia's offense, they're going to move the ball on New England's defense. They're going to move the ball. They got athletes across the board. They're going to move the ball.
Go ahead, Mike.
Nothing has happened in the past has any bearing on this game whatsoever. Because when the ball gets kicked off, the Eagles will see a completely different defense than what they've prepared for. You know, this is classic Bill Belichick. The fronts will be different, the coverages will be different, and the Eagles will prepare for all those things. So it comes down to really how well the Eagles will adjust to all that stuff that's changed and morphed on the other side of the ball. And they are, trust me, they will change. We played them one year. We came out with 2 tight ends. They had 4 down linemen and 7 DBs in the game. You know, what was that all about? And you've got to be able to shift and change. And if they come into this game with a game plan and just stick to it, then it's going to be a long day for them. They've got to change and stay one step ahead of New England if they can do that.
I remember a St. Louis team in 2000 that had coming off a Super Bowl, greatest show on turf, and New England came in with the right mindset. They came out as a team. It's us against nobody respects us. I know I'm not the only one that remembers this game.
Or did they? Or were they doing things prior to that they shouldn't have been doing?
Okay.
Hold on. All right. Yeah, all right.
I'm just saying, mindset matters.
Let me just say this. The mindset had nothing to do with that game. There's nothing that they did.
The Patriots, me against the world. Y'all had more talent.
Well, let me talk.
Go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry.
All right. So here's what happens. We turned the ball over 3 times. Not only 3 times, but first down of a series, and you lose that completely. They get all their points on that. How many yards did they have going in the 4th quarter on offense?
I don't remember.
Yeah, less than 100 yards. We had 450 yards. They couldn't slow us down. We just kept shooting ourselves in the foot. Yeah. And that's how it had nothing to do with mindset. We self-destructed.
And that's not a reflection of a lack of mental sharpness when you self-destruct. Colin Cowherd sitting here telling, and I believe it, the Patriots to me seem cocky going into this game. It's a foregone. Oh, we've done this a bunch of times.
Take out a word. You keep saying mindset. Take out set. Who's got the better minds in this game? It's not even close. Belichick.
At least that's what we think.
Well, yeah. I think Belichick has proven and Tom have proven an intensity and obsession to detail that is the greatest I've ever seen. Just take out mindset. Minds. Whose mind do you want? I want the experience, Belichick, Brady. Because those guys are the ones that are calling the plays, calling the schemes, substitutions, and getting the football in their hand.
When you look at the Eagles, you got to give Peterson a lot of credit. They lose their quarterback who was having nobody picked the Eagles to have this great of a year before the season started. So their coaches have done a great job. They know what they're doing. They're going to adjust. They've done a great job this entire season. You lose your quarterback, Nick Foles comes in. Wow, we make it to the Super Bowl. They've done a great job.
Yeah, I think you make a great point, and I've this week have been arguing that Doug Peterson's going to melt down, and I am flipping on that because I'm just telling you, I don't like the Patriots' mindset, and I can't believe I'm sitting here with a former high school athlete, former Pro Bowler, and a coach at the highest level, and we're arguing that mindset doesn't matter? Really?
Oh, it matters. It matters a great deal. I think you have to talk to the team beforehand and make sure, obviously, in the preparation of the week that they're focused and stay on point the whole week, and then especially before the game, there's no question.
Overconfidence played no role in the Patriots beating y'all in 2000.
No, I'm not saying it didn't. It probably did to some extent. I think I didn't address that. I should have, but I didn't. And I regret doing that because it may have had a bearing on the game.
Were you hanging out at NBA games before?
No, I tell you where I was. I'll tell you exactly where I was. It was a one-week preparation. Came down Tuesday night, met, and got ready for practice, went to practice, met, slept in the meeting room for 3 days. I went out to eat with my wife the night before the game. That was it. I was locked up in.
And your man Belichick's at NBA games.
No, Belichick is going to the hockey game tonight, Minnesota Wild. That's how confident he is. He's going to go to a hockey game and an NBA game as they win by 24. TJ Hushmanzada and Mike Martz are back. Let's just move to Justin Timberlake. Last time JT performed at the Super Bowl, he got in some serious hot water after Janet Jackson's notorious wardrobe malfunction. I never yet actually saw it live. I watched it, I didn't see it. Well, he's back at it again with an answer at a press conference that caused some strong media reaction.
So you would support if he wanted to run some routes and get in the NFL?
He will never play football.
Okay.
No. I mean, yeah, it's kind of like that thing where my main objective is that he become a great person. And if he wants to get into the arts or sports, then yeah, I mean, I would fully support that. I think, you know, I can hopefully offer him some advice on what to do, what not to do, and so yeah. But right now, I think right now we're working on our manners. It's like it's a big deal in our house right now. It's like one thing at a time.
All right, Whitlock, people are saying, wow, anti-football, anti-NFL, is it a big deal?
No, because it's fake news. And Justin Timberlake was trying to blow off a dumb question. It's a 2-year-old. He hasn't even given any thought about whether he's going to play football, basketball, golf, whether he's going to be a singer, dancer, whatever. And so he gave a flipped response. But, of course, those people in the media who hate football and want to see it torn down are making a big deal out of this. And somehow this ends up one of the top stories on ESPN's website, and everyone wants to talk about it, act like it's a big deal. It's not a big deal. You know what kids get hurt at more than football? Skateboarding. His kid is more likely to ride around on a skateboard out here in Los Angeles and Hollywood Hills somewhere and get hurt there more so than a kid playing football. I think 176 times a day a kid goes to the hospital over a skateboard accident. That's what rich kids do. They skateboard. Kids that are from these Hollywood families, they don't play football for the most part. P. Diddy's kid did, Snoop's kid did, but, you know, for the most part, they skateboard, and they get hurt a lot more than football players.
Well, I've always thought, too, in this whole argument is not everyone's designed to play football. It's really hard. I mean, first of all, 70% of kids that play youth sports quit. And they quit for different reasons. They're not good enough, they don't make the team, their parents aren't into it, they lose a lot, they get dominated. And like a lot of them, you know, I played football in high school, I wasn't very good, but in the end, it's not designed for everybody. Like most of the guys in my high school, in a small rural high school where people made their money fishing, commercial fishing, most people didn't play football. So it's not for everybody. When you ask a singer or a songwriter and a dancer, your kid gonna play football? No. Whoa, you hate the NFL. It's like, no, he's probably not going to live in that culture of playing football. I mean, does
Probably won't be tough enough, to be quite honest with you. And that's not even a shot. I wish
true.
I grew up pampered and raised by some millionaire celebrity. I wouldn't play football either. But, you know, that's not the way I grew up. And, you know, I'm glad I did play football because, again, we got this narrative out here, man. 90% of the people that ever play football, 95% of them, never, it all ends at the high school level, and everybody's fine. I got a bunch of high school teammates. I haven't heard about any of them with CTE. I got a bunch of college teammates. I haven't heard about any of them with CTE. Again, CTE, I'm not saying it's not real, but it's the most over-exaggerated thing in the history of sports. And if you don't like football, go somewhere, shut up and quit talking about it. And try to destroy something that does some real harm, because football does a lot more good than harm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think that as time goes on, his son asks him, you know, Dad, I want to play football. I would imagine he'd let him play. That happened to me. I didn't want my kids to play tackle football until they got into high school. And my youngest son said he wanted to play. Well, I can't tell him no. That's what I did for a living, you know. And he played. But I would think that as time goes by, you know, I think it was off-the-cuff remark that was harmless.
Yeah.
I have a son, he's 4 years old, and if he says, Daddy, I want to play, let's go. We're going to be the best, and we're going to work at it. If he wants to play, I'm going to let him play. I'm not going to force him to play. I mean, if my son said he wanted the box, all right, let's go. Whatever my son wants to do, I'm going to allow him to do it, and I'm going to try to give him the resources to be the best that he can be. I think it's what you said. He was just trying to get rid of the question. He's 2 years old. Nobody's thinking about that. But my son, playing sports, it teaches you responsibility. It teaches you accountability. It teaches you how to interact and get along with just different races and different people. So that's a good thing. But football, if my son wants to play, I'm all for it, and we got to work to be the best.
One of the things about transparency is that football's safer now. It really is. I mean, there's less hitting. I mean, I talked to the USC coach, Clay Helton. He's like, we won't hit after mid-September at practice. He goes, we don't have a bye week. He goes, we hit less. He goes, we're more into teaching. We're more into style and technique. He goes, players practice hard enough. He goes, we have to build up the calluses in preseason, first couple of weeks, and by mid-September, he's like, we're done hitting at practice. Now it's just teaching, mentoring, and staying healthy. So I think football's the safest it's ever been.
I would suggest that the helmets are much better than they've been, and I think they're headed in that direction to the point where they'll get much better over the next 5 years. That needed attention for a long time. Up until about 5 years ago, they were still playing with the same helmet I wore in college, for crying out loud. So they need to improve that and continue to improve that. But I don't see that being an issue in terms of these young kids until they get to the point where they're 12, 13, or 14.
I'm very emotional, passionate, defensive of football, because I think a lot of these people writing and talking about football have no experience with it. They don't understand how many good things come out of football.
Yes.
I was blessed.
Yes.
I was blessed and had 2 involved parents. But I know a lot of guys that didn't know who their father was, and the football coach was their father. The football coach was the guy that picked them up and carried them to school and made them care about school in any way. There's so many more stories like that than guys that are debilitated by football, but we don't talk about that. And I'm just sorry, you know, everything, life is hard. Life is a risk. You know, I'm a big Justin Timberlake fan, so I'm not mad at you, JT. You were just trying to dismiss the question, but, you know, the people that hate football, I don't like you. All right, welcome back. TJ Houshmandzadeh and Mike Martz are back. Let's move to the Hall of Fame, who will get some new members after tomorrow's vote on this year's strong class of finalists, headlined by Ray Lewis and Randy Moss and Terrell Owens. Lewis and Moss are all but guaranteed to get in on their first ballot, but T.O. is back on the ballot for the 3rd time and hasn't kept his feelings about not getting in the last 2 years a secret, saying, quote, at the end of the day, like I said, I think that the Hall of Fame has taken a black eye concerning people like myself, and there are going to be people after me that are very, very deserving of being in that Hall of Fame and not getting the nod that they should. All right, Cowherd, should T.O. make the Hall of Fame this weekend?
Yeah, he's a great player. I've never bought into the ambiguous, flimsy character issue. I mean, if the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was into character, there was nobody in that thing. No. I mean, seriously, if you look at Hall of...
Is there a guitar involved in football?
I don't know.
A microphone?
He got into the end zone a lot. He's catching 100 balls a year. He was pretty good. He's one of the 5 best receivers I've ever seen.
I have no problem with Terrell Owens not making the Hall of Fame. I think I've listened to people come up with this silly argument that if you can tell the story of the NFL, if you can't tell it without this guy, they need to be in the Hall of Fame. Was it Ray Rice? Can't tell the NFL story without him. Does he belong? Tim Tebow? Can't tell the story without him. Does he belong? Colin Kaepernick, are we going to put him in the Hall of Fame? So to me, and again, T.O. was a far better player than any of those guys I rattled off. T.O., talent-wise and stat-wise, is a Hall of Fame player. When you get let go by 4 or 5 different teams and they make up their mind, you're too much of a headache, I don't want you, that's not a Hall of Famer to me. Being a part of a team atmosphere, being a good teammate, contributing to a winning effort, and not name the Hall of Famer that's had 4 or 5 teams say, nah, get your ass out of here. Doesn't happen to Hall of Famers.
Oh. Okay. As quick as he got cut, a team was ready to pick him up.
Yeah.
And so you got to look at it both ways. To me, he should have been in on the first ballot. He was, in my generation, he was a little older that my generation receivers kind of looked up to. And from a talent perspective, it's a no-brainer. He should have been in the first year, and it's a shame that he's not because the people that are voting, they shouldn't be allowed to vote anymore. Oh, it's based off of talent.
Thank you.
It's based off of talent. His talent warrants.
It's not the Talent Hall of Fame.
What is it? It's
production.
The best. And his production, his talent, warrants a spot in the Hall of Fame. The best players that ever play in the NFL go to the Hall of Fame. He's one of the best players to ever play, especially at receiver. I mean, it's no question.
And also, he's a wide receiver. Wide receivers have always been personalities of the locker room. I mean, they're like the NBA players. They're on the perimeter. They break the huddle first. They're the most athletic. When you throw the ball down the field, they make the spectacular plays. Don't you have to give receivers a little break that they are the personalities of the league?
But his personality should not be a part of
You're
whether he makes
cancer. That's part of being a good teammate.
If he was that much of a, how many years did he play? He wasn't that much of a locker room cancer.
Got to a Super Bowl.
Time out. How many times was he responsible for winning a championship or helping his team win a championship or game-winning catches or the reason why they won? What was his role there? He got all these numbers and stats, and that's great. Does he belong? Yeah, he probably belongs. But the Hall of Fame is about excellence. It's not about who the best athlete is. It's about excellence. Excellence in every facet, from being a great team player to being there when they need you to win a game, and your performance. There's so much that make up what a Hall of Famer is. And if you use excellence as your goal, and you're talking about excellence and all these players, then you have to measure up in all those areas.
Would you want him? Because you were a guy that loved receivers. No. You wouldn't want him?
No, I wouldn't want him on the team, to be honest
with you.
Why? Because I wouldn't want to deal with a guy that is an independent contractor. It's about a football team. And if he won't, let me phrase that differently. If he would buy in and become what we are, yeah, absolutely. But if he wouldn't buy into it, no, I don't want him.
That is my point. And my standard for getting into the Hall of Fame should be, did you make the game greater? It's a great game. Did you contribute to the greatness of the game of football? That's what makes you a Hall of Famer.
He did.
He did, but he also took away, in my opinion. And again, I think what Mike is arguing, T.O., I think, has a couple of signature moments. Playing in that Super Bowl on one leg and putting up those numbers, I can't take that away from him. The catch I think he had in San Francisco against Green Bay. The big-time plays and blah, blah. But there's too much. The Philadelphia Eagles went all in on Terrell Owens, and then a year later, even after he did this in the Super Bowl, it was like, man, we can't have this. You're undermining our quarterback.
See,
from McNabb to Jeff Garcia to everywhere he went, he had a problem. That's part of being a great player and contributing to the greatness of the game, is being a good teammate.
But he'll get in. I mean, he's going to get in, whether it's this time or not. But what's hard for me is to go by Isaac Bruce, who was a consummate team player, winning catch to win the Super Bowl, all kinds of winning plays at the end of the games, opens up our first playoff game ever in St. Louis with a touchdown, 80 yards. I mean, his impact on that team, that whole organization, is phenomenal. And he's got great numbers. To me, those are the kinds of guys that are what this Hall of Fame is
Isaac
about.
Bruce should be in the Hall of Fame as well.
But somehow we can go right by him, and we talk about T.O. because he kept his mouth shut. He didn't promote himself. He's a good guy. And all we want to hear these guys talking and promoting themselves. And here's Isaac, who represents, to me, what the league ought to be about.
Yeah, he is a Hall of Famer.
I mean, Isaac Bruce was a route runner, so he for sure, I can appreciate Isaac Bruce got open because he could run routes. And T.O. just got a lot of bad advice, and he didn't follow what he knew was right, in my opinion.
Welcome back. We're joined now by Fox NBA analyst Eddie House. He also played a little. He's pretty good. Founder of the Big Lead, Jason McIntyre. Let's move to Cleveland, where LeBron James responded to the report that surfaced yesterday, which claimed he'd be open to joining the Warriors in free agency if they offered him a max deal. LeBron called it nonsense and talked at length about how he didn't want to talk about it anymore.
The Golden State conversation is a non-story. All the other conversations is a non-story. Please, for the rest of the season, don't ask me about nothing else, no other team, unless we're competing against them the next night, or you want to ask me about a highlight that happened the night before. Don't ask me about being on a team, on another team, because it's unfair to my teammates here, my 14 teammates that we come and work hard for, you know, the coaching staff and this fan base. The conversation is going to continue to happen throughout the whole season. I get that. I get that. It's going to be every single day. I get that. Where's LeBron? The LeBron meter. Where is he going to end up? Where is he going to do? Like, I just want you guys to know that my focus right now is on the Cavs and how we can get back to the finals for a fourth straight year. That's my focus.
Man, talk about that LeBron meter, huh? Watching FS1. Whitlock, LeBron seems to relish all the drama about his future. Is his lack of commitment to you, is that the big issue in Cleveland?
That is the problem in Cleveland. How can you build a solid house on a weak foundation? LeBron, if he were to commit to Cleveland, they'd have a chance to clean up their problems, but he won't. So this is what's going to be the result of it. Every year, and this year most acutely, this conversation isn't going anywhere, and it starts because LeBron won't commit.
Well, I mean, let's be honest about this. The economy is carried by LeBron. I mean, the Ohio-Cleveland economy is in the tank. He's the only thing saving it. He's the only buzz in it.
Over-exaggeration.
Well, no, I mean, economically, Cleveland's the struggling city in a struggling state economy, Ohio. He is the buzz. He fills an arena 50 times a year. He's the best player in the league. It's an old roster. You can't trust Dan Gilbert. You can't trust the rookie GM.
Got to trust somebody.
Well, I mean, to me, LeBron's the shining light in an otherwise dreary...
Commitment. He needs to commit.
And that will do what?
Everybody will want to start addressing the issues. If he were to commit to the Cavaliers, now you can start building your team with a but when you don't know what LeBron's going to do, it creates indecision.
Isn't 3 straight finals a commitment? Isn't 28 a game a commitment?
Yeah,
he's just dating.
So a commitment's going to get everybody wanting to go to Cleveland.
Not everybody.
The last 2 times LeBron has been a free agent, what has he done? He went from Cleveland to Miami, surprised everybody, and then he surprised everybody going back to Cleveland. You fool people twice, they kind of know what's up. So I think everybody's ready for him to move. And I got to say, LeBron can dodge it all he wants, but the media has to hold his feet to the fire because Kyrie Irving saw this coming, said, I'm out of here. Get me out of town. And now you got J.R. Smith pouting and struggling. And you got Tristan Thompson not knowing his role. You got everybody sulking because LeBron's holding everybody hostage. I don't know what the move he can do is. You agree?
Are you another one of these I love LeBron but guys?
Yeah.
Can I be one of those guys? Can
Whitlock, you and Broussard, you're joined the I love LeBron but I want to trash him again on the show.
But he's holding the franchise hostage.
I don't think he's holding the franchise hostage. He doesn't have to commit because think about when Kobe committed with the Lakers and the Lakers committed with him. They had no cap space. They were in trouble for 3 straight years because of all that money. They're going to have to pay LeBron a whole lot of money. Now, that could put them behind the 8 ball, which they already are. His commitment's not the problem. You see what his numbers are out there, 26, 8, and 7, almost 8 and 8. That's a commitment to a team. When you're not committed to something, you're not going out there giving full effort.
Thank you.
You know, so he's out there doing that. He's not the problem. I'll tell you the problem is J.R. Smith shooting 5 threes a game, shooting 34%. IT, 6 a game, 25%.
Wow.
D. Rose, 1.5, 26%. I mean, it's just not going to get done. Like Jay Crowder, 3.5 a game, he's at 32%. That LeBron's not the problem. Right, it's the rest of the team. And this wouldn't be an issue. This wouldn't be an issue if they were playing a lot better, if these other guys was carrying their weight.
So Paul George was with the Pacers, and they kept saying, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? He was honest with them. He said, you know what? I want to go to the Lakers. They traded him, and they, you know, at first everybody laughed, Oladipo and the rest of that package. It's worked out great for Indiana. They are on a path towards something. They are in the playoffs now. Paul George was up front. I don't understand why LeBron just can't be honest with Dan Gilbert and help solve the problem.
Because it doesn't matter. You don't have to be.
You're making a lot of sense.
I don't think that they have to be, because the organization is never honest with you. We've seen that with Blake Griffin.
Thank you.
So why do you have to be honest with the organization? This is a business, so if you want to be treated like this is a business, this is my business as well, and we are both held to the same accountability as far as I don't have to sit here and tell you anything.
Why is this going on with Durant and Golden State? Why aren't they having...
Because they have a great coach and a great owner and a great
No,
team
I'm
and
gonna
a
tell
great
you why.
system.
Let me tell you why. No, I'm gonna tell you why. Because they're winning. It's winning and misery. When you're not winning, it's miserable.
It's easy.
When you're winning, everything is cool. Everybody's happy. There's no talk behind anybody's back. Everybody's going out to dinner and partying and stuff like that. That's the problem.
Here's what I know. When the Cavs play their next game, LeBron's the best player on the floor. He'll make everybody better. He'll never miss the game. He'll never get hurt. Why is he always taking LeBron on the hits?
Let's not give him too much credit. LeBron did just have his worst scoring month since his rookie year. So I know he was an MVP earlier this season. He shot 21%. Check it, 21% on threes in the month of January. So LeBron, Eddie, let's not gas him up too much. He was an MVP candidate.
26, 7, and almost 8. That's no gas. That's balling.
Let's stop. Move to a new topic. To Denver, where the Nuggets won in dramatic fashion over Russell Westbrook and the Thunder last night. But even more drama happened just after the buzzer when Westbrook pushed a Nugget fan who wandered out onto the court to celebrate the win. Here's Westbrook on the incident after the game.
You got to be able to protect the players, man. You play the game, you go out, the fans obviously enjoy the game, but they can't come on the floor. It's totally unacceptable. So you'll look at it and figure out, what's the best thing to do. But to me, that's just totally unacceptable.
All right, Cowherd, who looks worse here, Westbrook or the fan?
The NBA, protect your players. Come on, you can't.
Protect them from what?
Protect them from fans running on to your place of business.
Did what?
A fan.
Woo! Oh my God. Is Westbrook okay? A fan yelled, woo!
In 2018, with crazy people out there, with threats all over the place.
They're not sitting courtside. They probably know each other by name. Or guys on the Nuggets.
So you're okay with random fan getting in a player's face?
Here's what I think happened. And just remember, Kevin Harlan, I love him to death. He's a Kansas City legend. Reggie Miller's jersey hangs in my apartment. They took this out of proportion. Nothing happened. Nothing. Russell Westbrook wasn't wrong. He pushed the dude and said, get out of my face, man. The fan, when pushed, didn't even respond, just got off the court. He got overly excited. Then someone, security's late, and I've read a story on your site. Security's got to do it. How soon does security got to get there?
Steven Adams was in the vicinity.
It's almost instantaneous. Yeah. Nobody here was in the wrong. Fan got overexcited. Westbrook, man, get out of my face. Fan got out of his face. Security came. Nothing happened here. It was blown out of proportion.
I think the bigger picture is this, is that the fans are getting a little bit out of pocket. And the reason why I say that is this. It happened at the Jaguars game. Guy want to go in the stands in football. Yeah. It's at the Palace at the Malice. You want to try to avoid all these things, and this is the reason why you want to avoid it, because fans, you pay a ticket, you pay your money to come watch the entertainment. Now, if somebody was to run in here right now, get in your face and scream, you instantly are going to push back. And this is your place of work. So when you at work, you should be able to work with, I mean, you could get heckled and all that.
Walk on football fields butt naked and run across
that's
all cool, and they get tackled too, don't they?
So it's not a big deal.
Security is there. Security is there.
I read on Deadspin, this was very scary.
No, it wasn't, not to that level of being scary, but at the end of the day, you never know what it could have been.
That guy could be dangerous.
You don't know what it could be.
He's sitting courtside all game, Colin.
You act like guys that are dangerous don't have money and can't sit courtside.
This guy looks to me like trouble.
Not that
Eddie, where are you from?
I'm from Oakland. But listen.
That wasn't scary.
No,
that was nothing.
I'm not saying that was scary and that was something, but they do need to police up on that, the NBA as well, because it can get worse.
Instantaneous.
Eddie, you almost convinced me there. I want to take it kind of in another direction. I would agree with Whitlock, not a huge thing. But is there a love-hate relationship with Russell Westbrook? If you go on social media, he's the #1 NBA player. Everybody loves him. Westbrook's so great. And then you go to arenas. Remember last year in Philadelphia, a fan gave him the double middle finger right in his eye. And Russell Westbrook's like, what's this? And now you got a fan stepping in his face. Russell Westbrook wasn't a top 5 jersey sales guy. I don't know that he has the love that you see on social media.
You were too hot. This had nothing to do with hate of Russell Westbrook.
I think it does.
Gary Harris hit a game-winning three, and the fan jumped out of his seat.
Then why did he go to Westbrook?
Yeah, because he was the closest player. Again, have y'all ever been fans?
How many game winners has Steph Curry
Have you ever
hit?
been a fan?
I am a fan.
You understand? I've gone nuts at games. I've cussed out the Pacers general manager when we didn't draft Adrian Branch years ago. Fans are a little nutty, but they're harmless for the most part. They give to charities and do all kinds of stuff. This guy got excited because Gary Harris hit a game winner, jumped out on the court, and when he got pushed, he exited immediately.
You literally ran up to a GM and yelled at him.
Yes. I was way up high.
Yeah, see, he was high. He didn't do it in his face. See, that's the difference.
If I could have got down there, I would have.